Okay, good morning, everyone. Let's get started. So let's sit in a comfortable position. And as usual, I know that you are experienced meditators, but despite the fact that you have prior experience in meditation, it's always advisable to start meditation with the deep breath. So let's allocate the first couple of minutes to practicing deep breath as we keep our attention around our nostrils and we take longer, deeper breaths. With each incoming breath, holding onto it for a couple of seconds and then releasing or breathing out. It really helps us to get rid of any negativities from our mind and body. And let's do that first. And then as usual, we will continue our this morning meditation with extended silence, meaning no more guidelines in between. However, we need to keep ourselves reminded that so we cannot trust our mind completely, and at the beginning throughout the meditation that there'll be no distractions. There will be distractions at the beginning and throughout the meditation. So we therefore start our meditation with the firm resolution that in case we get distracted during the meditation, and we will look at those distractions as an ample opportunity for us to test ourselves, test our mind, test our self-confidence, test our self-reliance. And when it comes to resolution, the meditation resolution, is always good to tell ourselves at the beginning like this: I need to be emotionally stronger, and when I am emotionally or mentally stronger, I am able to help myself and I will also be able to help many others on the receiving end of my help. As I remain emotionally stronger or mentally stronger, I can not only help myself, I will also be able to help many others on the receiving end of my help. One who is not emotionally or mentally stronger may not be able even to help oneself. Therefore, we need to make that resolution. It is not because I am selfish that I am radiating some metta, unconditional love toward myself, but because of the fact that when I know the meaning of unconditional love or metta for myself, then my metta to others would be meaningful as well. So that being said, let's make that resolution. When I am emotionally or mentally weak, I can't support even myself. I can't help even myself. How could I help others? So I should take care of myself happily at the first place, so that I should be able to help many more people in the world. May I take care of myself happily. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May I help many others in the world heal themselves. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May I take care of myself happily. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May they take care of themselves happily. Those who are unable to take care of themselves, be well, happy, and peaceful through the metta that I radiate towards them. That being said, as you continue, you may encounter those distractions as usual, as you know, inner or internal, and outer or external distractions or palibodas. As you already know, since it's been mentioned every time that we sit in meditation, that any tendency, any feeling, any sensation against our focus, meditation focus, is an inner distraction or an internal distraction. Any noise, any sound from your background, from our background, is called an external or outer distraction, so paliboda. As those distractions occur, as it was mentioned before, we must not get agitated by those distractions. Instead, we must be happy that we are being given an ample opportunity to trust ourselves, test ourselves, use our self-reliance and self-confidence to a better extent. And at the same time, in case you get encounter some emotional or mental pain or domanassa, or any physical or bodily pain, dukkha, at that point, instead of getting agitated by those mental / emotional and or physical / bodily pains, you should be able to be happy that you are being given an ample opportunity to understand, to realize the impermanent nature of our body and mind. Aches and pains are part of our existence. What we must do is to dissolve them, not to cling to them, not to attach to them, but let them go as they occur. That being said, we will start our meditation with extended silence now, as the bell goes on one more time. Needless to say, how you sit for meditation. That's what I didn't mention them. Other guidelines today. Thank you, and let's continue. So as usual, we meditated 45 minutes. Thank you for meditating with me this morning. As you know, we used to have this morning meetup on Sundays, but from today onwards, we're going to have this morning meditation and Dhamma talk on Saturday. As I announced before, via email and Facebook, that I'm having too many Zoom meetings on Sunday. That's why I'm really tired of having too many Zoom meetings. So that's why I thought I should have Sunday morning meditation meetup and Dhamma talk on Saturdays. So we don't meet up Sunday morning anymore. We'll meet up on Saturday morning like this. That being said, let's have our short Dhamma talk for this morning. So friends, today I selected a very important statement by the Buddha that occurs in the Dhammapada. In fact, it is contained in the Dhammapada verse number 254. In Pali, it goes like this: Papancha bhirata paja nippapancha tathagata. Repeat: Papancha bhirata paja nippapancha tathagata. Meaning, all beings take delight in papanchas, whereas all Buddhas are free from papanchas. They have no delight whatsoever in papanchas. So, of the English translation, I still mention the term Pali word because papancha needs some clarification. It needs some description. So once again, in Pali, it goes like this: papancha bhirata paja nipapancha tathagata. So all beings take delight in papanchas, while Buddhas, all Buddhas, are free from papanchas and they have zero delight. They take no delight whatsoever in papanchas. Now let's look at what papancha is. P-A-P-A-N-C-A, papancha. Papancha has a deep meaning in Buddhism. In Sanskrit, it is prapancha. As you know, Pali is more refined, much more refined than Sanskrit. In Sanskrit, it's prapancha, P-A-P-A-N-C-A, prapancha. Papancha or prapancha. So it has different, it translates into English in different terms. Papancha literally means proliferation. You know, a proliferation means a collection or a gathering or a coming into being, coming together of more than one thing. Coming into being, coming together, or bounded by, or a collection or a gathering of more than one thing. That is what proliferation means. For example, in English, say, society is a proliferation of people or individuals. A group is a proliferation of members. So proliferation has to be taken in collective terms. It is not one thing. It is the unity or the togetherness or the coming into being or existence or coexistence of more than one thing. That is what a proliferation is. So papancha generally translates as proliferation, but still the meaning isn't clear. Proliferation of what sort? What sort of proliferation it is? It is so that the more accurate or more sense-making translation of papancha is conceptual proliferation. Conceptual being an adjective means of or about concepts. So the proliferation, conceptual proliferation means now, so it's the coming into being or coming into existence, something that is made of more than one thing. Now, so in more simple English terms, it means that we create things in our head, in our mind. So, for example, when it comes to our individuality, when it comes to our persona, our selfhood, I think we can use the word selfhood here. Selfhood is made of more than one thing. You know, in the analysis of Panchakhanda or the five aggregates, Buddha defines selfhood or individuality as a collection, as a proliferation of more than one thing. Number-wise, it's a collection of 5 things, proliferation of 5 things. Rupa, physical body; Vedana, feeling or sensation; Sanya, perception; Sankhara, mental or karmic accumulations; and Vijnana, consciousness. Again, we are not going to discuss the Panchakanda here, or the 5 aggregates here. The whole point here is to understand that in the analysis of the Panchakanda or the 5 aggregates, instead of looking at our selfhood or individuality as one single entity or one single reality, it is in fact, it needs to be looked at as a proliferation or a collection of 5 things, because we have discussed the 5 aggregates too many times, so many times in the past. The whole point here is that our individuality, our persona, is not a one single inseparable reality intact. It is a proliferation or collection of 5 things. So at this point, our individuality is, our selfhood is an ample example for papancha. So papancha here again means a proliferation. A proliferation of what? A proliferation that we create conceptually in our head, in our mind, and more clearly in our perception. So concept. A concept is something that we generate, that we build in our head, in our mind. So once created, once made, a concept becomes a reality in our perception, actually. So that in the eyes of the Buddha, a concept is not a true reality, because a concept by itself is fake, because we create it in our head. For example, you can create a concept by thinking that you must be standing on your head, but living beings like human beings, and we should narrow it down to humanity, and then you can create a concept that human beings are supposed to stand on their head, but they stand on their feet. But biologically, when it comes to idea of evolution or the scientific definition of our biology, and so we stand on the ground, not on our head, but on our feet. So it would be funny to create a concept that we are standing on the ground on our feet, which is a mistake. We should stand on our head. But now it's a funny concept. If I say to the world that, hey, you know what? You are standing the wrong way. You are supposed to stand on your head. You are not supposed to stand on your feet. And then when you hear me say that, and then I'm still standing on my feet, I'm not standing on my head. But if I still stand on my head with my feet up, and then you will find me lunatic or crazy. But why I am using this funny analogy here? In the eyes of the Buddha, all unenlightened average people do is crazy, is funny. Now, in the eyes of the enlightened like the Buddhas, average people, unenlightened people, do things that are seen as funny or crazy in the eyes of the Buddhas. But it is not derogatory to say that. But that's how the enlightened people look at whatever the unenlightened people do. Just like I said, so I go to a gathering and I stand on my head with my feet up, and then I tell them, hey, you are standing on the ground the wrong way. Do like me. You are supposed to stand on your head, not on your feet. And then you for sure you will call me crazy or going crazy, or I am insane. That's the better word. And you will see me as insane. But in the eyes of the Buddha, most things that average people do are insane. The people's behavior, the behavior of unenlightened people is simply insane behavior in the eyes of the Buddha. But they say that, enlightened people say that not to offend unenlightened people. Because they had that path, they had that history. So, and then there's no end to our papanchas, so there's no end to the creation of our papanchas or conceptual proliferations. So that you can create a selfhood which is as big or even bigger than the universe. And then so that going against the actual biological nature of the biological realities and the psychological realities of your selfhood, you can still feel beyond the limits of your selfhood. Now, once again, just to remind in between, average or unenlightened people take delight in papanchas, whereas Tathagatas or Buddhas or enlightened ones do not take delight whatsoever in papanchas. Again, papancha is a conceptual proliferation. If I use another term for that, it's a mental creation. A concept is a mental creation. And so that when it comes to our existence, our life, it is nothing but something that we created for ourselves in our head, in our perception. So, but again, when it comes to our empirical existence, so the way, whatever the way we are is not fake. So concepts are real in our perception. I think concepts are real. But according to Tathagatas or the Buddhas or the enlightened ones, concepts are not real, they are fake. So, and that is why Buddha says, or any Buddha, any Tathagata, any Buddha would say that as long as people fail to see things as they truly are, as they really are, they are not in a position to realize themselves. Because nirvana is nothing but self-realization. We don't try to make any changes to the natural world, to the physical world. Where we must stand in our effort for nirvana is we change ourselves. We must change ourselves. And then it's all, nirvana is within. It is nothing but nirvana is nothing but self-realization. All strata, all levels of realization have to be fulfilled within. It has nothing to do with the outside world. You can't hold the natural world, the outside world, the actual physical world responsible for your pains and trauma and sufferings. Even if there are some individuals who are responsible for your pains and sufferings. But when in a spiritual sense, you can hold the natural world or the physical world responsible. In fact, you need to hold your own perception responsible for that. Why? As the enlightened ones of the Tathagatas say, the world that you see, that I see, is not the natural world by itself, it's not the physical world by itself, but a world that we create for ourselves in our perception, in our imagination. So that is called, and even the world that we see is a conceptual proliferation, it's a papancha. Our physical, our selfhood, our individuality is a papancha, is a proliferation, is a conceptual proliferation. The world that we see is a papancha or a conceptual proliferation. I know for sure this term papancha needs further description. Probably in the future, we will have a longer dialogue on this term papancha or conceptual proliferation. But today's brief Dhamma talk this morning is just a prelude. It's a prelude, it's an introduction to a forthcoming in-depth dialogue on papancha or conceptual proliferation. Thank you, and may you be well, happy, and peaceful. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you. So we will meet another time, because I think we discussed this in Sinhalese a lot. Probably in the near future we will have a longer dialogue on this term papancha, because papancha requires in-depth analysis. In fact, personally speaking, papancha is one of my favorite Buddhist terms, because it encapsulates the entire teaching of the Buddha. This one word, one single word. Okay, may you be well, happy, and peaceful. See you next Saturday as well. Thank you. Buddha Saranai. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.